Yeah, hi, it's me, Big Ugly Jim, your smallest of the small streaming Andes. So, Big Yankee Pride Day is coming. We just had our Big Canuck Pride Day, and looking at our origin story tells you a little bit about the country, right? So, our origin in Canada was a bunch of people in during the whole process of let's colonize the world. The sun never sets on the British Empire, after all. For Canadians, it was more once we knew the world, New World was there. We were like, well, let's take over some bits and pieces, and some of that is really cool. The French and the English were, of course, the two first colonizers of parts of Canada. When I was a kid, we did this amazing, like 15 years old, I think it was. We did this amazing trip across the entire country, left to right. We didn't go up and down. Don't judge me. But we did go from like sea to shining sea. We dipped our toes in both oceans that summer. And it was extremely cool. And what was really cool, I grew up in Alberta, and the culture in Alberta lasts about 7 minutes. There's like no history here. We have history, but mostly we pave over it, or we, make interpretive centers that you go to when you're a kid, like Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump. I went to Head Smashed In as an adult. Super cool. Anyways, you get across the boring ass prairies, and all of a sudden there's culture. And it's not much at first, but it slowly starts to increase. By the time you get to like Ontario and Quebec, the centers of French colonialism and English colonialism, you suddenly you have like incredible amounts of culture. Like one of my favorite things was Old Montreal. So right in the heart of Montreal, which is the capital of Quebec. Actually, it's not the capital of Quebec. Quebec City is the capital of Quebec, but it's a big fucking town inside Quebec. And in the heart of it is Old Quebec. And Old Quebec still has the wall around it, still has some houses that have sod roofs. And what they used to do once upon a time is they would actually graze cattle on top of their houses, because when the British were coming in their little boaty boats, they would look, and all there was this cliff face, and then you could see from the cliff, or from the ocean, what you saw was there's cliff, and then there's cattle grazing. You don't think about the fact that there's houses there with people with guns. So it was like a whole thing, and it was super interesting to me to hear about that. Our origin totally discredits the fact that indigenous people were here. Our origin was one of colonialization and genocide. And we really do, and I think this is true US and Canada, we really do brush over the fact. Of course the indigenous people were here first. We had Thanksgiving with them. Wasn't that super cool? Yay, Thanksgiving. But we don't think of what that was. So our origin story as a country was a bloody one. And it was a bloody one that really discounted the humanity of the people who were already here, which I think is a very common thing among colonial projects. It's facts. These are the things that we just kind of have to accept about our history, because they're real. When we formed as Canada, things were a little bit different. Not significantly. We mostly at that point were terrified of indigenous people, because we had fucked with them so much that they hated us, and rightly so, I would say. The fear among white folk was so severe. This is another fascinating story. This is, again, some history lesson for you. When the war between Canada and the U.S. happened, the U.S. didn't really think this was going to be a war. They assumed that we didn't want to be British citizens. We wanted to be free and wonderful American types, just like they were. And so they were coming, and they knew that we were not going to put up a fight, and it was going to be a cakewalk. During this process, the city of Detroit was taken by the Canadians. Now, how the city of Detroit was taken is absolutely fucking interesting. We essentially had like two boats of the white folk and 2 boats of indigenous people who were agreeing to fight alongside us because if I understand the story correctly, they were like, well, we have treaties with the British Queen, and we don't have treaties with the U.S., and all of the things that we hear from our homies in the U.S. about how shit's gone down for them, we don't want that. We at least have some relationship here that we can work on. Obviously, sorry to say, it didn't work out so good, but of the two, they felt that the U.S. was a bigger threat to them, so they agreed to fight alongside us, very tenuously, as I understand it. And so we hopped into the canoes, and we went across the St. Lawrence. I believe it's the St. Lawrence. And what happened was, this was in the days before internet. So since they didn't have geosynchronous satellites that they could, zoom in and go, oh, okay, I see that it's 4 canoefuls of people. What they had instead was the word of mouth. And by the time the word of mouth hit the ears of the mayor of Detroit, it was that the Canadians are coming with a savage pack of brutal indigenous people who are going to destroy and rape and murder and all of this. And his terror at the idea of that was so extreme that before they were even within visual range, he was flying the white flag out of Fort Detroit. I think it was Fort Detroit. I don't know. Whatever. Flying the white flag and basically curled up in the fetal position in his bedroom, waiting to be murdered by the horrible gangs of awful people who weren't white. And by the time they landed, the American military folks over there are like, why are we surrendering? What's just like for... Okay, I guess we're surrendering. And, drop their guns and, okay, yeah, we're surrendering. By the time the news got to this mayor that, dude, you done went and fucked up, the city was already taken. And Detroit was, at least for a time, Canadian soil. I think that's fascinating. And I think it's also interesting because it shows that, again, talking about origin stories, it shows that innate othering that was the foundation of this country. So that's why I get sassy about when we talk about celebrating Canada Day. I do love this country. I don't love it in like a nationalistic sense. I'm not going to go to war for it. But I think it's a great country. I think there's a lot of opportunity in it, particularly if you happen to be of the pallid complexion. And having a wiener also helps. But there is realities here. And I can't really celebrate this country so ardently without also accepting that those realities are there. First off, I want to say thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out. Thank you to my patrons that support me on Patreon. I am a little streamer, and these people are all really awesome for supporting me. I try to put up stuff at least once a week, and I live stream every Saturday at noon Mountain Time on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, like an old man. Again, thanks for watching, and have a kick-ass day.